Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster and I've come out for a bit of a walk today and I've brought along with me my Catapult, which is something I occasionally bring along with me. It's a fairly standard all one piece construction. I've got some TheraBand gold elastic on there with a nice little leather pouch for holding the shot. Now this is something I bring out with me fairly regularly, more for fun than anything else. And what I like to do is just sort of come out if I've got a bit of time to kill. If I'm at camp and I'm out with a group of people, it's always something nice just to have a bit of practice with things like this. And I also like to keep practice with it, just in case I ever needed to try and take small game. We're talking things like rabbits, squirrels, things like that. Now I will leave you to find out about the relative laws of what you can and can't use a catapult for. And I say the reason I like to keep practice is more of a sort of just in case scenario, rather than sort of going out and actively hunting and things like that. But what I'm going to do, I've got a good friend of mine with me today, Steve, who I'll introduce you to on the camera shortly. He's going to be doing a bit of behind the scenes filming so that I can hopefully get a picture-in-picture shot of me using the catapult and sort of releasing the elastic at the same time as hopefully hitting some targets, though I'm not going to guarantee anything. But what I'll do, let me move the camera around a little bit. I'll show you a couple of targets I've got set up and we'll take it from there. Right then guys, this is my mate Steve, who's going to be doing a bit of filming for us. Hopefully I'm going to do another video a little bit later today as well. We're going to do a little bit of fire lighting as well. But let me just cut across to Steve actually holding the camera and we will show you what it is we're shooting at. So, just over there, and I'll put a picture in picture or video in video so you can see these a little bit closer up. I've got 3 little bits of wood up on the tree over there, and that's going to be my targets. And hopefully if I can get Steve to stand back a little bit so you can get a sort of a fuller shot of what I'm doing, and we will see if I can actually hit anything, which would be a nice start. So again, just a little bit of advice from me on technique. Again, depending on the type of catapult you're using, you can get things with arm braces, you can get things with stabilizers on the front, you can get really basic stuff like this. You can even make your own. You find a nice forked branch, which I might do a video on at some point, just making a catapult. But just so you can see here, on this catapult, you've got a little indentation here, which is for your thumb. So basically, as you're pulling back, your thumb is providing a lot more support, so that obviously you can get a longer draw on it. So in terms of aiming, and let me just take this ball out, otherwise I might end up shooting my cameraman. So if you imagine there's a ball in here, and the camera that you're looking at me through is my target. So what you want to do is bring up your catapult, have it basically aimed at the target, and what you're looking for is in the center of the 2 pieces here where the band is attached, and in the center of the catapult here. You want to get the target in between those 2. You want to push with the arm that's holding the catapult and pull with the arm that's holding the band, and you want to keep the 2 aligned. Don't twist the catapult, don't put it forwards or backwards. You need to keep it perfectly level at sort of a 90 degrees to the floor, and that will allow you, hopefully, if you do that each time and every time, it will allow you to hit your target because you'll know exactly what you're aiming at. Ignore the plane going past, hopefully that's not picking up too badly on the audio. So what I'll do, let me just make sure this camera is running. I don't think it is. Sorry guys, technical difficulties here. Okay, so hopefully you'll get a picture popping up in the side of the screen in a second, and we'll see if I can hit any of these targets. No, it's a short answer. We'll give that another try. Okay, so that's one. And again, this is probably a distance of about 20 feet. So it's not a long distance by any great means. You need to remember that if you are potentially trying to hunt small game with this, you can only shoot to the distance that you're accurate at. You know, if you can hit things at 20 feet, you can go for game at 20 feet. What you couldn't do is go for game at 50 feet. And a lot of people I know who get into things like shooting, catapults, archery, that kind of thing, people are under this misapprehension that you can basically, if you can hit things at a close distance, you can take pot shots at things much further distances away. Apart from the fact that you're not likely to hit anything you're aiming at, it's not considered good practice by most people in the hunting community, because you've got a much bigger chance of winging something. You're causing injury and unnecessary suffering, and also if you get something and you get it in the leg, you get it in an arm, you get it in, basically you don't kill it, there's a very good chance that that animal can escape, run off, and will then end up dying in considerable amounts of pain, which is obviously not what anybody wants. Right guys, so I thought we'd try this from a different angle. So far 2 shots, hit once. Generally about my skill level, to be perfectly honest. But I'm now going to give the target on the right hand side a try, and we'll see how we go from there. Slightly better, I'm obviously warming up to it now. So again, hopefully you can see quite well in the video here how I'm operating this catapult. And again, so from a slightly different angle, I tend to draw before I aim, but you can do it either way. You can either aim first, then draw first, then aim. It's entirely up to you. And what you need to do, and hopefully this is picking up as I say, keep this 90 degrees to the ground. Don't bend forwards, don't bend backwards or side to side. The other thing that I should have said earlier, when you've got this drawn, you need to make sure that you know where the bands are. So if you've got it drawn and the bands are up here somewhere, it's going to aim slightly downwards. If you do it like this, it's going to go slightly upwards. And what you want to do again is try and keep these 90 degrees to where the bands are attached to the catapult. And one thing I find really useful, and this is something that crosses over to archery, is when you draw, bring your the drawn hand up to your side of your face, pick somewhere, whether it's the side of your mouth, the side of your nose, wherever suits you, and try and make that the point where you bring your hand every time. So you draw back, mine goes sort of to the edge of my mouth, roughly, well, in fact a little bit higher, so at the top of my lip, and it keeps the bands perpendicular here. And what a lot of people suffer with this is, if you're moving the bands around each time you take a shot, whatever you're using for ammunition ends up going in a different place. So it's just something to bear in mind. So I'll go for the last target and see if I can get that. I think I hit it, but it's actually quite a heavy bit of wood, so I'll see if I can get that again, and whether or not it takes a tumble. That was definitely a miss. I'll give that one more go. And again, just for your reference, I'm actually using, just dropped on the floor, I'll find that in a minute and get a spare one, so it's not dirty. So just a standard ball bearing, stainless steel. Now if you are hunting game, these can be a little bit on the light side. A lot of people prefer lead. Obviously lead has different ramifications for the environment, so you need to consider that. But certainly for practice, these 10mm steel ball bearings I find are really, really good, and they're very consistent. Right, and there we go. Sorry, Steve's got a rather strained look on his face, because I think one of those just ricocheted back just behind his head. But anyway guys, I hope that was useful. Something to think about. I mean, these catapults, you can buy them loads of different ways, and forms and styles. I prefer this one because it's nice and simple. I have used things like the Black Widow crossbows, which is basically a plastic handle with a tubular section of steel on there, with a little bracer that sits over your arm to give you a bit more support. If you've got particularly sort of weak wrists or hands, they're really good for things like that, and especially for younger people. This I like because I can basically just stick it in my pocket. It will sit there all day. You barely notice it's there. You get a little bag of ball bearings or something to go with it, and they're really, really useful. They're great fun to play with. They're really good for target practice, things like that. And at a real pinch, you could potentially catch your own dinner with it as well. But as usual, comments and questions in the box below. By all means, feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.